What's up, guys? Scotty2Hockey here, aka the Average Hockey Fan, and today I would like to discuss whether or not the Montreal Canadiens should buy out Karl Alzner's contract. Alzner was brought over from Washington at the beginning of last year to solidify our top 4D with players like Andrei Markov and Alexander Emelin leaving. Markov went to the KHL, Emelin got drafted by Vegas in their draft, so Montreal was in need of a D-man, especially a left-shot D-man, and a defensively sound one because he had Jeff Petrie to play with, who I believed had offensive upside and showed it last year. He had offensive upside and this year. So we needed a left-handed defensive D-man to slot in there in the top 4. Unfortunately, Alzner didn't turn out to be that player. He, in a league that's transitioned to a more fast style, a more high pace, he just doesn't seem to fit in. And as for Alzner, if the Habs were to buy him out, by no means does it mean his $4.6 million cap hit immediately comes after cap. They would still have to have a cap hit, and for quite some time, but it would be a very low cap hit. I'll explain it to you now. If Montreal were to buy out Alzner, they would face an annual cap hit at an average of $1.302 million per year for the next 6 years. If you buy out a player who's over the age of 26, instead of taking a larger cap hit over a 4-year span, the team takes a reduced cap hit over a 6-year span. Or actually, excuse me, instead of taking a larger cap hit over a 3-year span, because that's what's remaining on his contract, it doubles and it turns into a 6-year span. So they would have to pay out $1.3 million cap hit per year for a player that's not even there, but it's worth it because you're still saving a bunch of cap. And you get to have a roster spot in Laval for a younger player who could possibly thrive in that position. Especially where we have so many prospects and we got so many picks in this upcoming draft. There could be a few guys going to Laval, a few guys in Laval's training camp that are trying to make the team that Alzner would take a spot from if he was there, because he definitely would. Now, this is what I had written out about Karl Alzner. I said when Montreal signed Alzner, many thought he would stabilize our top 4D with Markov leaving for the KHL. He was supposed to fit into Julien's defensive structure perfectly with his solid defense, big body, and years of experience. As a go-to D-man in Washington, however, in a league that has transitioned to a fast-paced, less physical, and more oriented style, Alzner's weak skating ability, poor positional play, and downright horrible offense with constant turnovers has left him the odd man out in Montreal. All in all, his time in Montreal has been nothing but disappointing to the team, the fans, the coaching staff, and I would assume, most of all, Marc Bergevin. It is his one failure from last year that will hang over his head and be a topic of discussion until he either buys Karl Alzner out or just lets him play out the rest of his career in the minors, which I feel is the wrong thing to do. Now, as for people who are wondering whether or not the fans and whether or not people online think Karl Alzner should be bought out, he's currently number 2, just behind Milan Lucic in the popular buyout section on Cap Friendly. Now, as for Karl Alzner, he signed a 5-year deal with the modified no-trade class for $23,125,000 in 2017. It expires in 2022. He's a 30-year-old left-handed shot defenseman, 6'3", 219 pounds, former 5th overall pick. In 2017-2018 for the Habs, in 82 games played, he had an abysmal 1 goal, 11 assists, 12 points. That's even bad by Alzner standards. He was a -7. He did have 141 hits. One thing I did like from Alzner last year, he wasn't scared to lay the body on people, but it was mainly behind the net in the other team zone when he was just standing there. Like if he got a lucky hit, he'd get it. He didn't really pursue or track down players. If you look at him last year, his positional play was horrible. Yeah, he had 11 goals. He had 1 goal, 11 assists, 12 points, was a -7, 141 hits. He did play 20.1 minutes per game. He was on the ice for over 1/3 of the 5-on-5 goals against, so that shows how great his defense was there. And this year, in 2018-2019, they decided to give him another chance, see if he worked out enough in the summer, see if he could do what Jordie Benn did and turn it right around and look like a completely different player. But unfortunately for Alzner, that's not the case, and I really wish it had to be because he's a much higher cap hit than Jordie Benn. 2018-2019, in 9 games played for the Habs, he had 0 goals, 1 assist, 1 point, was somehow a +1, and had 13 hits, and he played 17.18 minutes per game. Now, my closing thoughts on this topic is I do think Karl Alzner should be bought out. Yes, you're not saving a pile of cap. Over time, you're possibly saving maybe 1/3 of what his contract would have been on your cap hit. You're still going to get a cap hit every single year when it comes to Alzner for the next 6 years. But it is worth it to buy him out because we have so many prospects coming to Laval. He could take a roster spot from a young player who could thrive in Laval, end up being a defenseman in Montreal. It's just not the right thing to do. And this guy, you should just buy him out because there's no point of him playing the rest of his career in the minors. He's not helping Laval by no means. It's just looking bad on him. I'm sure this is probably mentally affecting Alzner. If it wasn't for the pile of money he would be leaving on the table, he would probably retire. So all in all, I have no idea what Montreal's going to do. I haven't heard a whole lot about it since the end of the season, but I think it would be the right thing to do to buy him out. Just part ways with it. Wash your hands of it. Nobody has to listen to Marc Bergevin sign Karl Alzner to a horrible contract anymore. That's still looming over the Habs' head. That's still a big cap hit for the Habs when they need to clear cap, especially for 2 or 3 years down the road with expiring ELCs, having to re-sign players, big players like Brendan Gallagher. You're going to need all the cap you can get, and moving a player like Karl Alzner, in my opinion, would be the right thing to do. But that's just the average hockey fan stats. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for my upcoming videos, and feel free to leave a comment. Do you think Karl Alzner should be bought out? I know there are some fans out there that are saying give him another chance, but honestly, guys, he had a full season. He was terrible in that full season. They decided to give him another chance. He only lasted 8 games. They gave him a conditioning stint to Laval. They brought him up again, and he had his worst game ever as a Hab when they brought him back up, and he immediately went back to Laval. They tried to trade him. They couldn't get a piece in return for him. They've done everything they can to move him, and they cannot move him. The only option is to buy out the contract. Anyways, guys, Scotty2Hockey, aka the average hockey fan. You guys have a great day. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button and enjoy your day, folks. Go Habs, go.